Let's have a go. Oh, and neutral. Let's listen for that click. Welcome back to Living with a Classic, and Eagle Eye viewers will know what I'm sitting in. This is a 1966 S-type. It's a 3.8 manual overdrive, so it's pretty much like the one that I'm actually restoring on the channel, and yes, we're going to get back to it. Plan is this year. I'm saving up some money to be able to afford the next step in mine, which is the expensive part, body restoration and the paint, but it's all stripped down. But this is a customer car that just arrived with a couple small things. It's being converted to wire wheels. So I'm going to do that. The fronts have been done, but I'm going to help him out with the rears. So I'm probably not going to film that. It's just going through the hubs. However, it has an issue with starting from cold. And the cool thing about this is the owner's daily driver. This is a really cool daily. But if it's been sitting for a couple days, he says it's hard to start when it's cold. I haven't driven it yet. It arrived here 3 hours ago. It's been sitting here. It's sunny today, so I mean it should start no problem at all now. And then we'll pull it into the workshop and let it sit and cool down, and we'll have a look at the starting carb. They're different than the AEDs on the later ones that we've gone through. There's some electric parts and things. We have some spares as well. So hopefully we can sort this thing out so he can actually start his car first try every morning. And here we have the gorgeous dash. This is my favorite part, that little table right there. But let's see, we will apply the parking brake, bring it out of gear, and let's see. That did start up pretty much right away. That was a very, very low idle. Let's pop the bonnet and see if we can hear I don't think I can hear the hisser because it sounds, it's a hissing sound. That thing is on. I don't think that's on. So let's pull the bonnet and have a look. No, the hisser is definitely not working because the other switch is not connected. Oh, he's had some nice chew on these. That's a shame. These are great plug wires. But yeah, hisser's not working. It's not even hooked up. Let's pull it in the workshop and have a closer look. But let's do a little walk around. It has a red interior, as you saw. It's black. There we go. And absolutely gorgeous. You've got wires in the front and no wires in the back. So yeah, if that thing is not even hooked up, that would make sense. There may be a hidden switch. We'll have a look at that because a lot of people have removed the other switch and put a hidden switch somewhere. Ah, I found a switch. Let us turn it off. No, that's the horn. I really thought. All right, we'll have a look inside and see. I'm not sure if other markets have this, but in Swedish market it's really common that this has been fitted so that you actually have a locking steering column. You still use the starter button up there. On mine, I still have a key up here and the starter there, which I want to keep. But I'll pull this thing into the workshop and we'll see if we can find a manual switch for the starting carb somewhere. All right, it's sat long enough now for it to cool down a bit, and I've done some troubleshooting. We saw before that the other switch is disconnected. That's basically bimetal inside there, and that gives an earth connection to the starting carburetor down there. It's also sometimes known as a hisser because it hisses. You'll hear that later if we get it going. So no earth there means it doesn't work. Normally someone will then connect maybe a loose switch. I've disconnected this cable that was connected. I haven't found any other switch for it or anything, and I can't find the wiring for here. There are some other wiring issues I'm going to fix on this. Like you see here, this is for the temperature gauge. He says that is intermittent, so we're going to replace that. However, I have found So you're supposed to have a, let me get the light here for you guys. You are supposed to have a positive feed right there, and then that is the switch ground. So normal operation, you turn on the ignition, you'll hear a click of that thing clicking on, and that opens up and allows fuel to be drawn in, extra fuel for it to start. Then the engine idles normally. Once it gets up to 37 degrees, which these are set to the auto switch, that breaks the earth connection, and then that thing is switched off. And theoretically, it should not be able to get switched on again until it is cold and you have the ignition off, because vacuum will suck that little plunger down and hold it close once in the off position. You can't put a manual switch, which the owner wants to do here. So what we're going to do now, I'll switch on the ignition, and we should get a positive feed right there with a test light. And then if we do get that, by putting a little cable and grounding the other side, the solenoid should click and hopefully turn on. Got ignition switched on here, and it's a test light. And as we see, we're getting positive to there. So that's really good. Let me just make up a cable to put on the other connector so we can ground it and see if we get that thing to click or not. It's quite tight there. We see that blue connector? That's just a cable I put on. Here is the other end. We can ground this anywhere. How about over here? Ooh. That is working. Hopefully it doesn't leak fuel. I'm going to set this up somewhere so it grounds, and then we will crank it over and see if it wants to start with choke. All right, so I just temporarily clamped it right up there on the battery. Now when we switch the ignition on, we should hear that click from the solenoid, and hopefully it actually wants to run. I heard a click. Let's see. I hear a hisser. Let's go out and see. I think you guys will actually understand why they're called hissers. That is one real hissing sound. The plunger right there is down, means it's working. Should be running now, and a little bit on the rich side. But we'll let it run for like 2 minutes or so, and then I'll disconnect that earth. And if all works as it should, it will stop. And if that works as it should, I can go and pick up an extra switch. You can hear it is a little bit rich now, because I mean, it's not fully cold. It probably wouldn't need choke, but that is really good. Let's just give it some revs. Perfect cold choke idle. The takes a while for the gauge to go down again. We're good. We have good oil pressure and everything. Charging. I think I'm going to try turning off the hisser now, the choke, and see if it switches off as it should. You should hear a noticeable change in the idle. You hear that? And now it's all off. And no leaks. So I think I call that pretty much fixed. I don't have a good switch at home. I think I'm going to have a look for one, try and get a pull switch or something we can hide. But I think we'll let this thing sit overnight, and then tomorrow morning we'll see if it starts up, you know, when it's actually cold, because now it's not fully cold. But it should start up first try, no problem with that hisser or choke connected. Well, it's the next morning. It sat out here overnight. We had a couple degrees below freezing, and right now it is right about freezing. So you still have a little bit of ice there on the window. I've just connected up the battery, and let's turn on the key, see if we get that click. I still have the cable connected up there to the battery. So if that clicks, hopefully it fires right up on the first or second try and idles nicely as it should. Let us have a go. and neutral. Let's listen for that click. The fuel pump also, but I think I heard a click up there. Let us give it a go. Just gave it a little bit of throttle right there, and it's on choke. I mean, this was quite cold, probably colder than it will usually have because I think it's garage kept, but still, I think that wasn't really bad at all. We have a nice even idle. I can hear the hissing. Nicely, doesn't smell of any fuel or any leaking. That plunger is all the way down. Perfect. I'll let it warm up for about a minute or two, and then we'll switch off the carb, make sure it switches off as it should, and that it continues to idle. Temperature gauge just started to move, so about 30. The original auto switch should turn off at 37 degrees, so let's try and just remove this clamp here, and that should turn it off. And there we go. All turned off and running nicely. Still a little bit cold. You could probably keep it running a tiny bit longer. It's a little different than, let's say, the AED on the later ones, which gradually turns off. This just immediately switches off. So maybe on a cold day like today, you keep it running on a little bit longer. I mean, it still wants to idle, a little bit of a low idle, but there we go. Well, I think I'd call that a real success. It's working now. Just need to hook it up to a switch. So that is some basic troubleshooting of why this thing wouldn't start. In the future, we might go in a little bit deeper on these. There is a little screw on top where that plunger is, and you can screw that thing, I think it's clockwise for leaner and anti-clockwise for richer. This thing seemed pretty good. Maybe I wanted to have it a touch leaner, but you don't really touch them too much. Do a couple of cold starts before you adjust them. It's just like the other AED. So I think I'll do a cold start again tomorrow and see if it's a little bit better. This time knowing that maybe it just wants a little bit touch of throttle, and then it's going to be fine. Every car is different in what it likes and what it wants, how worn or not worn the engine is. You know, it's a lot of different factors. But now I can definitely say with confidence that this thing will start when cold. I'm going to hide a little switch under here. I have one in order. It's a pull on-off switch, so that just will ground or not ground that cable. And I think a pull one is easier because then if it's a switch, it's hard to know if it's up, it's on or off. But here, it's really easier for the owner. When it's pulled out towards you, it's on. Push it in for off, and that is really straightforward. So we'll put that underneath somewhere, hide that. Yes, you could probably get the auto switch going, but like a car like this, you know, once it's warm out, you don't really need a choke often to start one of these. So that's a nice thing to be able to have it permanently off. Anyways, I hope you like this video, and let me know down below if you want to see some more stuff on this S-type. I'm going to do a little bit more, some light troubleshooting, some light electrical, but I think maybe we need to go for a proper test drive when everything is up and running and the wire wheels are on, and really get a feel for one of these. Like I said, I am restoring one. It's one of the longest projects on the channel. I will get to. I'm saving up money right now to be able to do the paint job on it, which is the next step. So hopefully, mine's also like this with a red interior. And well, I'm pretty excited because this has gotten me really wanting to get mine done as well. Anyways, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. It really does help out a lot. Until next time, I'm Adam. This is Living with a Classic. I'll see you soon.